I'll call this meeting to order. Steve, were you going to take notes for our
Yeah,
minutes?
I'm going there right now.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm already on there, Steve. I can give it a shot.
Okay, great.
Do you want, Robbie, do you want to share that screen or not bother?
Up to you guys. Can I? I can't. I don't have access to share my screen.
Oh, I think I can do
And
that.
Michael,
Yeah.
you could open it up. You could just open it up on yours, and then Robbie could type into it, and we'd see it in real time.
All right, because it's a
Okay,
Google Doc.
let me see if I can figure out how to do this. That means I have to go to something like this. I haven't really got it up here. Means I'm going to have to go find it. How do I get there, Steve?
Go to the meetings and agendas. So sign in as Underhill.
I got to get to Google Drive first.
Okay. You know what? Why don't I share it once I get it open here?
Okay.
You got me set up to share it?
Let me see about doing that. Now, Steve. And make presenter. Okay, Steve, you're presenter now.
Okay. Share screen 1. Okay, do you see it?
I see it. It's a little small, but I see it.
We'll make it bigger. Oops. On the right screen. All right, Robbie's taking notes.
Okay. Robbie's the note taker. We are having this meeting under the guidelines for virtual meetings. And does anybody have any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move right along. We got the members in attendance. I don't see any public, including our emeritus members, so still no. So we don't have any public comment period. Can we review and approve the minutes from January 25th?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the minutes are adopted as written. That's great. Committee operations. I wanted to check with Steve on this. After the last one, I just immediately sent the minutes into Amanda. Should I hold off on that for a while?
Yeah, I think all we need to do is we'll print it as a PDF and then send the PDF.
Well, I downloaded it as a PDF.
Okay.
And sent it to her as a PDF,
Yeah.
but I just did it.
Last time we were going to change a couple things, but you had changed them. You caught it. So I think as long as at the end of the meeting we say, are we ready to submit the minutes? Then we'll know for sure.
That sounds good. I wanted to ask one more thing about under committee operations, which kind of isn't already pre-listed. I was thinking about adding for future meetings, at least a brief thing, sort of member forum or that kind of thing, when members can bring up anything they find interesting or they would like to talk about or address. Does that make sense to add that item for that?
Sure. Yeah, I would include like a 5-minute on our agenda every month.
Yeah. I was thinking more like 10. And we can. If we don't use it, we don't use it. That's fine. But that way, if people want to find something that's interesting or hear about something that just share news, show and tell a little bit or whatever, then it would make a certain amount of sense to do that. So I'll put that on the agenda then.
what we should do is we should, if we're going to share something,
Yep.
we should have people put a link in the minutes so we don't have to keep switching presenter from one to the next.
Yep.
And if we
That sounds good.
had the link in the agenda or the minutes, either one, then one person could open it up and then we could all see it and talk about it.
That sounds good. We can, we can pass that around, but I was thinking almost more like verbal stuff. I heard this is going on, or do you know anything about this? It's just an opportunity to just exchange information. We're all interested in this, and there are
But
things.
I have one I want to show you at some point. Well, I'll tell you the short version is University of Maine has a 3D printer that prints houses.
I've been hearing about printing houses, but I haven't heard much about it. So yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'll share that sometime.
Yeah, that sounds like definitely an interesting thing to learn about. And the other thing I wanted to handle under this item was our memberships. It's Amanda reminded me that Dwight and I and John are up for renewal. Dwight says he's willing to do it. I guess I'm willing to do it as long as we impeach the chair. And I'll just email John and find out if he is interested in doing it. So I will need to follow up on that. So I have nothing else under this item. Does anyone else have anything?
Well, we still need new members.
We still need new members, I know. Anybody got any handy? Word of mouth seems to work way better than our, kind of trying to plug it. And we were talking earlier, Steve, about, we'll probably get to it a little bit later at town meeting, doing a table thing and, kind of putting up a sign and begging and trying to attract interest there too. So see if anything shows up on that. Any other ideas?
Increase the signing bonus, though. The signing bonus is too small.
Yeah, I think we should double it.
Yep. So moved.
Okay. Okay. Well, that will be by acclamation, right? Okay, that's
moving right along.
What's that?
Moving right along.
Moving right along. ARPA projects. I just want to let everyone know our projects have been submitted. There have been a total of 52 projects submitted. I'm sure
52?
52.
Wow.
I'm sure it significantly exceeds the amount of money that's that would be available. Now, one or two of them we already know are not going to be there, and a couple are. I think there's at least one that's a replacement for one that came in before, that kind of thing. So we're probably down around 48 or 49, but nonetheless, we have a whole lot of projects, and we're going to begin taking a look at them at our next meeting, which is either on the 13th or the 20th, depending on whether I got it wrong one way or the other. So we'll be taking them up. All of our projects have been submitted. And Jerry has talked to the one that we didn't have anything on, the town hall upgrade. Jerry, you've talked to Brad about that a bit, have you?
No, not really. Only Jennifer wanted me to meet with an electrician.
So you haven't actually met with him yet?
No, I haven't heard a thing.
Okay. I will check in with him just to see what's going on. That one obviously is going to have to go to a phase 2 application since we don't have any data on it, and it's really critical that it be done. So whether it's done under ARPA, of course, might be another question, but I think that's really an important thing. It's pretty foundational to a whole bunch of other stuff we've got coming down the pike. So I'll just confirm that. We can make it. I will try to remember to do that.
Were there any ones that stood out as really outstanding ideas?
I haven't even really plowed through them all, Steve. There's a lot of, let's see, I can switch over to the big list. There's sidewalk study. People are suggesting sidewalks. People are suggesting street lights. People are suggesting pedestrian byway, extend bus service, more park improvements, playground structure, rebound wall for town courts, town hall improvements, town hall generator, something in Sand Hill Cemetery, streetlights, beautification is unclear, sidewalk construction fund, food shelf budget help, playground improvements, hours, electric vehicle, et cetera, a repeater for UJFD, emerald ash borer treatment, which came in at $200,000. I did look at that. Monarch habitat preservation. I mean, there's Hastings Hill drainage, kind of everything and everything. It's all over the map. It doesn't feel like I wouldn't say anything leaps off the page at me, of course, except ours. So we'll see how it goes. That's it. I can send you guys this list actually, and you can see it. I can also put up the applications. Any input is obviously welcome. There's no secret about it or anything, so maybe I can do something about getting information to you about what's actually going on, so you get a sense of what it's about. I can do that. If anybody wants to knock on my door and say, this is really great or whatever, I'd love to hear from people on that. So, okay, anything else on ARPA projects? Okay, next item. UEC weatherization, including pre-audits. We talked about this a bit, but Dwight, maybe you could kind of mention, about the schoolhouse piece, and also when and how we think we might be trying to go a little bit more public with it.
Well, I've been toying with a front porch forum saying, we're looking for 5 houses to do a pilot, just so we can go at our own pace for a little bit.
Yep.
And it may be that we do that at town meeting, but I don't think I want to wait that long.
Yep.
And I had sent you a sample out. I want to change it a little bit so it's more worded as a pilot. And we'll get that rolling. This, like I said, we did the first, for Steve wasn't here. We did the first schoolhouse one. I think we have a decent format. Doesn't make any promises. It just says where you might improve your house, and here's some resources that might help you do so. So there was one other thing there. My position on the Affordable Heat Act.
Great.
It is anything but affordable. It's going to end up costing us more. I'm not in favor of it, which sounds odd.
I hear you. Is there something out there, Dwight, that we should be doing? How should we be approaching this particular issue? It's obviously a big piece of Vermont's energy consumption.
Well, I will tell you this, and there's several articles or several news pieces that were out there. We just had a cold weekend where it got down to -15, and there was heat pumps. Nobody's heat pump worked. It showed you that they have limitations, and you cannot do away with. And then there's other, like, a lot of stuff about now that New York is looking to do away with wood stoves, and Vermont will follow suit as to getting rid of wood stoves, which it's just not, right now, cold climate heat pumps are not the 100% answer for Vermont, and you have to have a backup in order to survive a weekend like we just had. So they're not taking that into consideration.
Dwight, you said they didn't work. Did they stop working, or did they just go to 100%?
At -13, they basically stop you're getting very little heat out of them, even with the electrical resistance.
So you're not getting resistance heating.
Yep, they switched to resistance heating, which, as we know, is horribly inefficient.
Right.
So it's
But
just
what you're saying, the experience is that they really don't even produce any heat at all.
what our contractors were using is that there are a few folks out there that have only heat pumps, and when it gets down to minus 15, there is little to no heat coming out of those things. They
That's
are
what I was
not.
afraid of.
Yep. So, and it's they in the clean heat, they're saying it costs $4,000, $5,000 to put in a heat pump. They are not realizing that a house like mine, I would need 4 heads to put out the BTUs that I need to heat my house. That's $20,000, not $5,000.
Right.
So the facts that they're using are wrong, and they don't tell the whole picture. And coming from a low income advocacy position, we feel that they are completely not taking into account the number of low income homes that would have to be switched over, and our program was built out of the anti-poverty. We're trying to reduce cash outlay by the low income clients, and this would not do that in any way, shape, or form. So.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think that we need to take this into consideration. But I also think, there is no doubt that this is a huge piece of the issue in Vermont, and the question is, what do we do?
I'm a weatherization. They supplement with heat pumps, but there still has to be an ability to heat with something that you burn. We only have to look at Texas to see how their power plants went down, and people are going to die. Heat is not an option in Vermont. It's a matter of life and death.
Right. Now, just I don't want to spend a whole huge amount of time on this, and maybe we ought to set aside some time to talk about it. But what if heat pumps were equipped with the ability to just do some electric resistance heating on the 3 days that it's 15 below?
The cold climate heat pumps that are currently out there do have an electric resistance feature, but as the cold temperature gets lower and lower, they get less and less effective. And it's anecdotal data from our contractors that the guys that are putting in cold climate heat pumps were run ragged last weekend. There's also cold climate heat pumps. It's $200 a head to clean them once a year. $200 a head, and if you need 4 heat pumps to heat my house, that's $800 as opposed to $200 every other year.
What do you mean $200 a head? What's the $200 for?
You're supposed to clean your heat pumps every year to keep them running at max efficiency. The contractors are charging anywhere from $150 to $250 a head to clean them. There's a lack of those contractors out there. So if you have, like in my house, I would have to have 4 heat pump heads and 4 compressors to run to heat my house. That would be $800 a year as opposed to $150 to $200 every 2 years.
Do you have to do more than just clean the filter?
The contractors bring in the ones that are doing it, they're bringing in a plastic bag that wraps around the whole thing, and you have to wash it with water.
Right.
To get it clean is the manufacturer's way of doing it.
Because I've cleaned it with water. It's not hard, but you're right. It's the kind of thing that not everybody does themselves.
You're way more handy on the light than most of our folks are.
Yeah.
And we have several low. I'm coming from low income that they can't afford to clean them. So once they stop working, and they're hung on the wall and don't do anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is really important information to get as part of this puzzle. But basically, when heat pumps do work, they save a lot of money, even for people that are poor, I think.
No,
And
not really.
no, they're
Nope.
not more economical. A COP of 3 is not better
Not from
than
what we're seeing.
interesting.
We
Yeah,
get calls
well,
all the time about people are trying to run off these heat pumps that we've installed, and they say their electric bill is through the roof.
Hmm.
So, and those are in weatherized homes.
Well, electric bill's certainly going to go up, and it may be perceived as going through the roof, but you have to offset it with oil that's not being burned. I mean, it sounds like this is definitely worthy of a conversation in the future.
yeah, I would like to find a way to address this, just to know where I stand on it. I mean, it's a really important thing for Vermont and by extension for Underhill. So we
Yeah.
ought to have some idea of what, are we out there beating the drums, or are we out there ducking for cover, or
I think
beating
we
the
should
drums?
hold off. I personally think we should hold off and let Burlington do its test run for a few years and see how that works.
Possible, but I'm beginning to feel a little desperate about the climate too. So anyway, that's, we've been holding off for a long time on doing stuff. So anyway, yeah, no, I hear you, and let's program in a discussion at some point. I think it would be really great, and I know that. Wait, I'd love to hear your insights into it. I mean, I'm hearing them, and it's something obviously I need to figure out how to fold it into my overall view of what's going on and so on. So,
Dwight, I have one head in my kitchen, and I measure the amount of electricity it uses. It saves about 300 gallons of oil a year. But when it gets down like the lower end of single digits, I switch to oil. I wouldn't trust it.
yeah,
That'd
I think
be
that makes sense. Okay, let's put this on the shelf for a little while and come back to it at some point. So, I wanted to mention committee initiatives. One is the town meeting one. We've agreed we're going to try to do that. I'm going to get in touch with Brad or somebody to see about getting a table and pulling together the information. Dwight, you said you were going to try to put together the QR links for folks. I'm going to see about pulling together some information for the table, and I will send out an email to folks asking people to maybe sign up, and, take cover some of the time associated with it. Is
Good.
kind of where we got to when we weren't meeting. If that sounds all right. Okay, do we want to talk any more about that? Are we all set with that?
So we're going to have Dwight's materials. What else we're going to have?
I'm going to bring the materials that we had available at the farmers market, about rebates, about heat pumps, about weatherization, EVs. There were about 4 or 5 handouts that we had.
Great. Do we have enough of those, or should we get some more made?
I think we have enough, but I will check on that number and see what we've got. We had quite a few as of the last time. I had also a brief kind of bullet point thing about the UEC and what we do and what we're all about. So I'm going to bring along a few of those.
Good.
And someone, Peter, I think, suggested put up a big banner, say, join the committee and, come march into the future with us. And I'm going to see about what would be involved in putting something together for that. And, see what we can, just basically a table with a little bit of information on it. And maybe, I don't know, I'll take a look at a threefold and see if there's anything to do with it, but I don't know, but that's going to be helpful or what. So.
Michael, I will see if I can get those home energy savings kits from Efficiency Vermont. No cost.
Oh, wow, that would
savings
be
kits.
great. That would be wonderful if you
Maybe
could do
they
that,
can give
Robbie.
us 20 or 30 of them to hand out.
Yeah, if we could do that, that would be really nice.
I'm probably going to regret this, Michael, but with regard to writing something to get people at least interested in looking at what the committee does and whether they might like to join it, I will try to get some thoughts down on that.
That would be
But
great, Peter.
please don't hold me to producing the final copy of whatever you decide to hand out.
No, strictly speaking, you're not supposed to, but I'd love to have your input into it. That would be great.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So that said, we've got that. Continuing activities, we had, I just, I don't remember whether I sent that in you guys' version or not, but, I had noted a bunch of things. We more or less said we were going to continue with at least two of them, the farmer's market and the EV event we want to try to repeat, I believe. I don't think we ever really decided whether, we were willing to take another swing at the harvest market thing. There was something that I encountered, I don't know quite why, that made me think that some local motion people might be more inclined to be helpful on that, but I don't know. Then there's the website and anything else. As my understanding also, it's only a rumor, is that the town is planning to unveil the new town website at town meeting.
Oh,
And we can start deciding what and how we want to link up with that. That sounds like appealing. So, but I don't know that from more than a rumor at this point. Does anyone have any thoughts?
I think it might make sense. Sorry.
well, I think
Yeah, I mean, Harvest Market gives us the biggest audience. I think it's certainly worth seeing if local motion will, lend their support.
Well, as soon as I can come up from air, I will get in touch with them again and see what we can do with it. How's that?
Good.
So I guess I wonder how many people would really use a bike for anything other than very short distances. I mean, I can't imagine most people going from Underhill Center to this Jericho Market, for example. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wonder. I mean, it's a cool gadget, but I wonder what its usefulness really is. The EV bike.
I am not absolutely sure. Robbie, you had
If
an
ARPA
idea?
funds get used for a sidewalk, maybe there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, I think if we had a sidewalk, that would make a big difference.
Yep.
And one of the things that keeps coming to mind is that getting people to access to the regular bus. And the ability of people to get to the regular bus might be vastly enhanced if you could hop on your EV in at least semi-decent weather. And I keep getting emails and stuff from Katma saying, come to our winter biking events and that sort of thing. And I just say burr and close it down. But nonetheless, evidently, some folks are apparently thinking in that direction. So I couldn't rule it out.
Yeah. I wonder how much effort we should put into it. But if it's not much effort, there's no harm. I mean, if three people ride, that's more than before.
Yep, I hear you. So, and I don't know how much it would also facilitate, an EV bike. People getting sucked into EV bikes might be more inclined to think EV cars. It's like,
right. Might start a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, I'll take a look at it. Okay, anything else we want to talk about under our initiatives?
Well, in terms of continuing activities, I think we've got to wait and see what happens with the ARPA, because if we have to do phase 2 applications, that's going to take some work.
Yep.
But the other thing is we had those standing committees. We should go back to work on those projects.
Yes, I concur. I just wanted to get through the ARPA pig in a python problem and then move on to where we were before. That's why one of the reasons I sent you that question in the background, Steve.
Yes.
About so maybe we can talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Offline. Okay, anything else going on? All right, climate action plan. I did mention that previously. It's available. I will put up the newer copy for people to look at and maybe try to get around my notes to it. I would really appreciate anybody taking a look at it. Thoughts are welcome at any level. So
now, Michael, do you have the link to the Google Doc that we made?
I've got it somewhere, Steve. I don't have it right in hand. I was a little reluctant to pass that one out since, you know, that's supposed to be the CAP committee, the climate task force commenting on that one. You know, I thought if we had one of our own, we could look at.
People wouldn't see the comments if they're not commenters.
Okay.
So the only people who would see the comments are the editor and commenters, and everybody else. What's that?
Just lost my earphones there. Yeah. Okay. Well, that would work then. So I will go dig that out and send that.
And I will verify that. I'm 99.9% sure, but I will be 100%.
Yeah, would you be, you know, well, if you're at all, you know, if there's any question, you know, let me know. But otherwise, I'll be glad to share it. I mean, I would relish everyone's input.
I mean, that we know is supposed to be the most current, and
right.
that way everybody's seeing the most current.
Yes, exactly. And you can also, well, yeah, exactly. So that sounds good. I will pass that around. Okay. Should we include that in there or not? In our minutes.
Sure. We lost Robbie, it looks like.
Maybe. I don't know. Right. Whether we did or not.
So I will. Whoops.
Robbie lost. I'm hearing Robbie saying he's lost connection.
Hey, does that cover it?
That's fine. Just you know, just a notation that I'm going to put something up there. Anybody have any other thoughts or thing they want to bring up about this while we're here? Okay. Agenda items for our next meeting. We've got the cold climate heat pump discussion. Does anybody want to put anything else on it at this point? I mean, we'll know more about ARPA at that point. We'll have the pieces that are identified, I think, some of these.
Okay, ARPA update, good.
And hopefully, you know, we'll get some interest from the town meeting activity. So I'm good with that. See what else is out there at that point.
Okay, we're good.
Perfect.
Are the minutes okay? Do we need to change anything in minutes?
I didn't see anything that looked like it needed changing myself.
I didn't either. I thought Robbie did a great job.
Yep. And since we've lost our quorum, can we adjourn? We don't have a quorum. Are we doomed to meet forever because we don't have a quorum to adjourn? Peter, I need you. Oh, Robbie's back. We can adjourn now.
You can't adjourn. I'm sorry, you can't adjourn. There he is.
Yeah, Robbie's back. We've got a quorum. We can adjourn.
You better adjourn really fast.
We better adjourn before we lose our quorum and we can't adjourn. We're going to be meeting forever if Robbie doesn't come back. Okay, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to have dinner.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll say aye. Any opposed?
Who moved it?
Dwight.
Dwight did. Dwight's the hungriest. Okay, we voted to adjourn. We're all done, guys. Thank you all so much. We pulled it together somehow out of the whatever. I won't go into that in any greater detail than that. I will plan to get the information out, and hopefully people will be able to join me at town meeting the day before our next meeting. And thank you again.